It's Paul Marsh, and I'm delighted to say that I've been joined by Atomic Kitten star Natasha Hamilton. Natasha, how are you?
Hey, I'm good, you know. I'm feeling festive.
It's almost that time. When does it all begin for you?
Well, last weekend we put up the kitchen tree and the main tree. We added a Christmas tree last year because the kids said the house didn't feel Christmassy. But I just said, my baby's two, so I just had a baby and they wanted me to be like totally like decking the halls, and I was
Right.
like, no. But I did. I made up for it last year, so I'm in the good books.
Ah, okay. Well, I know that you've been incredibly busy lately because, of course, you've had the Girlbands Forever documentary and everything else like that, haven't you? How was that taking a trip down memory lane? I know you've got both the good and the bad.
Yeah, I mean, God, such is life, yin and yang. Do you know what? It was fantastic. What you see on the documentary is like a few snippets over a few episodes, but it was a 4 hour interview. It was quite intensive.
Oh,
I went
wow.
from day one to kind of like now and what's happening. And by the end of it, even though it was quite exhausting, it felt really cathartic. And I had such an immense feeling of pride. Like, wow, like what we achieved in
Yeah.
an industry that wasn't great to young females. We really had to fight for respect and we had to fight for opposition to our male counterparts. Um, and we were just young working class girls from, the Northwest. So I just felt really proud. And I also feel like we inspired a generation of kids to be able to think we can, like, look, if Atomic Kitten are doing that, we can go out there and we can achieve our dreams as well. So I did feel really proud, and we played such a pivotal part in the history of girl bands and pop music. So it was only fair that we had a voice on the documentary.
Yeah, 100%. I think with a lot of things like that, with nostalgia, I always look at nostalgia as like a past relationship. Now, whether that's with an ex or whatever it is, I think when you're in something, you really, really focus on the negativity. And then when you look back at it, maybe years later, you only remember the good stuff. And I think it's like that. I think, it's like that with Atomic Kitten. I think Christmas, when we look at Christmas and we
Mm.
remember what it used to be like when we were young and all that, and we look at that and we have that, oh, it was so fantastic. And I think when you're in something, you tend to focus on the negativity rather than the positivity.
I don't know,
Is that a little bit deep? I do
No, no, I
apologize.
understand where you're coming from. I feel like when we were in it, we were so busy working really hard. Um, Sometimes you just don't realize what you're achieving and what like how important the work you're doing is or is going to be.
Yeah.
And honestly, we really grabbed the opportunity with both hands, like me and the girls, especially me and Jen, because Liz is always a bit of a home girl and she'd like go to bed and me and Jenny would go out. We paired up many uh city around the globe. We were just young girls enjoying ourselves, and we were given this opportunity and we really did just go and enjoy it. There's a flip side to everything, isn't there?
Yeah.
With immense fame and pressure becomes a lot of responsibility. And when you're a kid in the public eye and you're living out your day-to-day life, you're going to make mistakes. You're not the finished product. No one's perfect, but you're a role model and you're expected to be this really well-rounded person. And I said this, on an interview recently. I said teenagers are messy.
Yeah.
We were just like learning on the hoof, learning a world that we didn't know a lot about, that was way beyond our years, and having to grow up really fast in the spotlight.
Do you feel that, and I certainly feel this with my children doing what I do, I feel I'm in a great position to educate them. And I think it's the same. Obviously, you've got kids, and obviously, you've had the documentary out. And again, I know we're talking about Christmas and everything else like that. I think we are, because we've been there, we've done it, we've made the mistakes, and we are a part of that now digital generation as well as the analog generation. We feel that we can educate our children on the pitfalls.
I mean, yeah, with I've got a wealth of experience to pass on to my kids, but more than anything, I want to be their biggest champion, their biggest supporter, like anything's possible. I say to my kids, what do you want to be when you're older? And they'll give me one answer. And I say, well, what else? You know, times have changed. We don't live in a society where you can leave school, go and work for a company, stay there for 50 years, get this lovely pension and a happy ever after. Like these things don't really happen anymore. So it's just making them realize that they don't have to be just one thing. They
Mm.
can be a boss at lots of different things. And like
Yeah.
both of my well, I say a teen, my son, Alfie's 15 and Ella's 11. You know, Alfie loves performing, but he's also an amateur tennis player. He wants to be pro tennis when he's older. He's even said he wants to study like politics or potentially law. So he's got interest in lots of different things. And I'm like, you can do it all.
Yeah.
Ella performs, but she also says she'd like to be an author and move to Paris, you know, and we talk about, I wanted to visualize, like, what do you see? Like, what does your apartment look like? We talk about how she's going to furnish it. She'll go, oh, mum, do you see that? That's going to be in my apartment when I'm older. And I think it's really important to not stunt any child's vision, like allow them to manifest it. You know, if you see
Yeah.
it, you believe it and you go and get it. And I don't think it was quite like that. Like when I was in school saying I want to be a famous singer or I want to be a pop star, then my school was run by nuns, and I was told, well, that's not realistic. So what else do you want to be? And I said, well, I'd like to be a spy. And I just got laughed at. And look, I'm a spy pretending to be a singer.
But I know we're getting off the
Right.
beaten track, and I'm going to get
We
back to the
are.
beaten track. But I
Yeah.
agree with you. When I was at school, which again is too many years ago, I had no idea that I could do this for a living. I had no idea that this is a journey that I was going to take. I thought if you went to college and university, it was for maths and psychology and all these other bits and pieces. I had no idea that any of this existed. Let's get back to what we're meant to be talking about,
Yeah.
which is Christmas. And the reason we got onto this is we were talking about nostalgia. And again, you know, when I think about like walking through town when I was younger and the wonder of all the lights everywhere and the big, huge trees and all of that, are we just getting old or did it used to be better?
I do genuinely think it used to be a lot better. I think people are dubbing it now the Grinch Pinch. You know, some statistics have come in and it's saying 73% of Brits say their local Christmas celebrations have been scaled back.
Hmm.
49% say their town feels less Christmassy than it used to. And 8% say their town no longer has a Christmas tree. And I'm like, how sad for
Yeah.
the kids of today. Like for me, core memories were getting all wrapped up. My goodness, my mum used to wrap me up so much because I used to suffer with my chest. But I can just remember like the scarf and the gloves and the hat. And we'd be going to the high street or into town and we'd be watching the big light switch on. And unfortunately, not every town and city's getting that like that festive pizzazz. And a local town to me, Liskeard, has been voted a town in much near of a festive glow up. They've not had a tree for a few years, and a few years back, they were even voted the UK's worst Christmas tree, which nobody wants to
Oh,
take.
can you imagine? Terrible.
So I know. So Asda came along and said, not anymore. And they brought Christmas in abundance yesterday. They installed a 30-foot Christmas tree. It was stunning. I was brought in to be like, I don't know, the fairy of Christmas. I brought the magic. I was lifted up on a cherry picker to the top of the 30-foot tree, which was quite, I'm not going to lie, I was scared. But all the community was there. We did a massive countdown. You know, I waved my magic wand, the lights came on, the local school choir was performing. It got people together like they haven't been in a few years. And I think this time of year it's really important to lift morale. It can be a really lonely time of year as well. And
Yeah.
if you know there's cutbacks and these community events aren't happening, well, where do people go if they're alone anyway? So, you know, huge respect to Asda for what they've done for Liskeard this Christmas. They really deserve it.
Let's not hide the fact that there are tough times all over the country right now. And there are certain things that just lift the mood. And you know, when you think about sporting celebrations like England doing well in the World Cup, the Olympics, and all of these other bits and pieces, Christmas is one of those things that brings people together and lifts spirits and lifts the mood. And if councils around the country are having to choose between donating money to, let's face it, essentials, the things that the people genuinely really, really need, and then Christmas decorations and things like that. Unfortunately, there is only going to be one loser there, and it is going to be the Christmas decorations. But it's mentally something people really, really need to lift them.
Absolutely. And look, you don't need a 30-foot Christmas tree. Like, not every town needs that. People can organise events themselves. If they do need some funding, they can reach out to ASDA. Go onto asda.com. They've got their own foundation. They are always in local communities
Yeah.
nationwide, helping where they can, not just at festive times of year as well. So if people are out there thinking, actually, my local town could do with a bit of help, please get on to asda.com. It's all there. Reach out to them.
I'm not going to name any names, but we have all been to that Christmas light turn on that's been a little bit anticlimactic.
What one? Which one?
I'm not saying any names, but we've all been to that local little town where they've turned on the lights and you've gone, oh, is that it? And if that's the case, you need to get onto Asda.
Well, listen, it's not all about the big shebang, is it? Like, let's just get into our communities and celebrate togetherness. I think a tree, whatever the size, it's not just about decorations, it's a symbol of hope, and that in tough times, people can still come together and boost morale.
Yeah, I love it. Well, Natasha, thank you so much for talking to me. I really, really do appreciate it. One more time, if people want to find out a little bit more about this, where can they go for that?
They can go to asda.com.
Nice and easy. Natasha, have a wonderful Christmas. You truly, truly deserve it. Thank you so much for talking to me.
Thank you so much, and a very Merry Christmas to you and all your listeners too.